All right, so I'm going to be going over our volume study guide pages for today. We will probably get through 69 and 70. And if you do have time, you can start 71 on your own. I am not going to be giving you the answers to this. I really will help you set them up, but I need you to kind of use your brain and use your materials and your calculator in order to figure out the answers because you will be tested on this material and I want you to know it. So the first thing that we'll do is I'll go through and read. It's really important that you know we are using 3.14 for pi, and that makes a big difference when you're getting your answer. So make sure you know that. So question number 1, what is the formula used to find the volume of a cylinder? And then describe the steps to finding the volume of a cylinder in your own words. Really, really important. You should have all the formulas written down in your sheet, or you should have the cheat sheet that I gave you, the cheat sheet, which is the volume reference sheet. Remember what a cylinder is. Hint, hint. See these two shapes down here? That's a cylinder. So you have to write down the formula, and then you have to kind of describe in your own words how to find the volume. Remember, the base of a cylinder is a circle, and it's just kind of a long circle, if you will. It has a circle, and then it has a height. So that's something that you could actually write. So again, you're writing the volume formula, and then you're writing, what are you actually doing when you use that formula? Well, I'll kind of tell you. You're finding the area of the circle and then you're multiplying it by the height. That's what you should be writing. Question number 2, find the volume of the cylinder. Leave your answer in terms of pi. So right now, what you should be doing is you should be rewriting the formula. I don't think I have an actual pi button. So I'm just going to write pi. Actually, I can probably do the equation piece. Pi r and then squared times height. So then when you're writing that out, you're going to fill it in. You're going to leave pi on there. I'm just going to write the words out because I'm not going to keep clicking that. Pi, what's the radius? 8 squared, and then times the 24, which is the height. Now, when you do this, you're going to leave the pi out of it, and you're just going to do 8 squared times 24 in your calculator, and then you will put pi. I'm just going to draw it because obviously you guys will have a paper. I don't. So you're going to leave your answer in terms of pi. So write what you get before it, and then it's going to be millimeters, and then don't forget it's cubed. So you'll write that little 3 up at the top. So write the answer. So you're going to do these ones just like you did this one. Find the volume of the cylinder, round to the nearest tenth. They are giving you the diameter. This here is the diameter. So you need the radius. So remember, radius is half of the diameter. So you have to divide 15 by 2 or cut it in half to figure out what the radius is. You need to rewrite the formula, v equals pi r squared times height, and then you need to plug in the values, and then you are actually using pi in this one. So remember, you're using 3.14. So you're timesing it all out in your calculator, and you have to round to the nearest tenth. So make sure you do that. You should know how to do that by now. Number 4, a cylindrical can has a radius of 5.5 centimeters and a height of 8. What is the capacity of the can? They're asking for the volume. If they ask for the capacity of a can, they're asking for the volume. So again, you're going to do you're going to rewrite the formula. V equals pi r squared times height. You'll fill in what you know. What you know is that the radius is 5.5 and the height is 8 centimeters. So go ahead and do all that. Plug in your formula, plug in the numbers that you have, put it in your calculator, use 3.14 for pi, and write your answer on the line. So now we are doing cones. So for this one, it says Laura is trying to find the volume of a cone. So far, she has found the area of the base of the cone and then multiplied it by the height of the cone. Describe what she needs to do next. Well, the first thing that it will be really important to know is that you can write the formula a couple different ways for a cone. You can write V equals 1/3 big base times height, or you can write volume equals 1/3. I'm just going to use, I wish I had a symbol. Let me see if there's a cheat code really quick. Hold on. Let's see if I can do the symbol. Okay, but is that dang it. It's not standard. So I'm just going to write pi. I wish there was a symbol. You guys should write the pi symbol on yours. Pi r squared times the height. So what they're saying is she's trying to find the volume. So far, she has the area of the base of the cone and she multiplied it by the height. Describe what she needs to do next. Laura's trying to find the volume of a cone. So far, she has found the area. So she's found pi r squared and she's found the height. Now she needs to multiply the answer by 1/3. That's the only thing she didn't do. So that's what she needs to do. That's the answer. Make sure you write it down. A cylinder has a volume of 72 cubic inches. What is the volume of a cone with the same height and radius as the cylinder? So for this one, we know that a cylinder is pi r squared times the height. So that's what a cylinder is. But we're asking for a cone, and a cone is 1/3 of that. So we actually have to multiply 1/3 times 72. So what we would be doing is this times this, and putting it in your calculator and writing what it is. Don't forget the label, it's cubic inches. For number 7, find the volume of the cone, leave your answer in terms of pi. So this one, once again, the formula right here is right here for the cone. 1/3 pi r squared times the height. I'm sorry, I can't do the pi symbol. It takes too long. You need to rewrite that formula. And remember, if they want the answer in terms of pi, you don't put 3.14 in your calculator. You just do 1/3 times the radius squared times the height. And then you leave the pi. You leave pi on there. So it's going to be pi and then units cubed. So just remember, you don't have, they give you the diameter, you need to figure out the radius. Remember, the radius is half of the diameter, and then you'll have everything you need to do to plug the formula. Rewrite the formula, V equals 1/3 pi r squared times height. Plug in what you know after you figure out what the radius is, and put everything in your calculator except for pi, which is 3.14, and you will get the answer. And then it will be units, pi units cubed will be the ending of it for you. All right, find the volume of the cone, round to the nearest tenth. Again, that formula that you need to write down, just like you did for the last one, I'm going to write it here for you just so you remember. 1/3 pi r squared times the height. That's what you're going to fill in. You have the radius and you have the height. Fill it in, put it in your calculator. Then you need to round to the nearest tenth. Don't forget the units. Number 9, a cone has a diameter. It's giving you a diameter. That should set something off in your head that says, oh no, I need to find what the radius is. Remember, the radius is half of the diameter. So I'm going to write here, you need to figure out the R, and it has a slant height of 15 units. Find the volume. Remember, you need to rewrite the formula, plug in what you know, put it in your calculator. This is the height. All right. So then you're finding the volume of the cone for that one. All right, this is the last page that I will record myself kind of going over what you need to be doing. It says find the volume of the sphere, round to the nearest tenth. Do not forget the equation for finding the volume of a sphere. Volume for a sphere is V equals 4/3 pi r cubed. So you do not have the r value. You don't have the radius. You only have the diameter. So you need to go ahead and figure out what the radius is, which is half of the diameter, and then you can fill in your formula, and you need to round to the nearest tenth. So the second one, it says a sphere-shaped globe, snow globe, so you know it's that circular sphere, that snow globe. It has a radius of 3.5 inches. Again, that's super important. It's giving you the radius, which is a great start. How much water can the snow globe hold? Round to the nearest tenth. Rewrite your formula the same as this one. Plug in what you know and round to the nearest tenth. This time it's telling us a cylinder that is huge. We need to know that has a volume of 75 cubic meters. What is the volume of a sphere with the same radius and height? So we need to know the volume of a sphere. Well, remember, a sphere is 4/3 what a is 4/3 of what a cylinder is. So you would be multiplying oops, I need a text box. You would be multiplying oh wait, I'm sorry. No, you wouldn't. That's wrong. I think a sphere is 2. I think it's 2/3 of a cylinder. I'm pretty sure. So I believe we'd be multiplying that by 2/3 times 75 equals. We might have to ask Ms. Dolph on this one. I want to make sure that I'm telling you the correct information. I think it says in our packet, if you do want to look back, I can't remember what page it's on, and of course I don't have my packet right in front of me, but I want to say a sphere is 2/3 the volume of a cylinder. I'm pretty sure that's what Ms. Dolph had told us. So you can do 2/3 times 75. But again, if we do that one wrong, we can kind of ask Ms. Dolph on Monday what her thoughts are. So the next thing we have to do, find the volume of a hemisphere. Remember, hemisphere is half. So in parentheses, I'm going to do parentheses a half because we're going to multiply that formula by a half once we do it. And they do give us the radius, which is good to know. So the radius is 7 inches, and we are going to have to round to the nearest tenth. So remember, you're going to do the volume of a sphere equals 4/3 pi times r cubed. I hate how I have to write that because I'm typing, but hopefully you can match that up with the formula that you write. But one thing we're going to have to do at the very end is we're going to have to multiply this all by 1/2 because we're only doing half of a sphere, a hemisphere. So go ahead, plug in what you know the radius, so you're doing 4/3 times 3.14 times the radius of 7 cubed, and then you're going to times that answer by 1/2, and you have to round to the nearest tenth. Remember, 4 and below, let it go. 5 and above, give it a shove. And then the last couple questions, the question below gives a description of a sphere. Match each description with the volume of a sphere in terms of pi. So remember, you're using that same formula, V equals 4/3 pi r cubed. And you're going to just sub in what it gives you. This is giving you a radius of 18 units. This is giving you a diameter. So you need, and this one's giving you a diameter too, and this one's giving you a radius. For these two, you need to say what the radius equals so you can plug it into the formula. And same thing for this one down here. So in order to do 15 and 16, you first have to find the radius in order to solve those. And then you just have to match it. Remember, this is the one where when you do the formula, you do not put pi in your calculator. You just times everything else. And then you leave pi there, and then you should be able to match them right up. All right, the last couple. A cone-shaped funnel can hold 314 cubic inches of water. If the height of the funnel is 12 inches, what is the radius of the funnel? You have to work backwards for this one. So remember, we're going to write V equals, it's a cone, so 1/3 pi times r squared times the height. They're giving us the volume, so this is the one where you'll put the volume first, and we still know it's 1/3 times pi, and we don't know the radius, so we have to do radius still squared, but we do know the height times the height, which is 12. So on this one, remember, we have to times in our calculator 1/3 times pi, which is 3.14 times 12. You put that in your calculator. So you will get, I'll just tell you, if you do that in your calculator, you should get, and you need to do this in your calculator too. I don't want to be the only one doing it. And then you're like, well, I don't know how I got that. I'm not really sure. You need to put this in your calculator if I'm putting this in your calculator, in my calculator. So I just did 1/3 times 3.14 times 12. And I got 12.56. And that's times my radius squared. I need to get radius squared by itself. So then I have to divide. I'm going to move this up a little bit. Actually, I'm going to make this smaller too because I want to be able to fit everything I need to do on here. So now I have to divide. I'm dividing by that 12.56. So 12.56, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. So then these will cancel. And I'll have to do 314 divided by 12.56. And I'll actually get 25. I'll actually get 25 equals r squared. But then I need to take the square root of both of those so I can get my r by itself. So over here, I should get r equals, and then what? And your units should be in inches. So you need to do the square root of 25 and see what you get, and that should be your answer. I'm not giving you the answer. You need to do that in your calculator, the square root button. If you're looking for the square root button, it is second And it's the on the left-hand side of your calculator where it says x squared. So you have to hit second x squared and then hit 25 and then hit enter. All right, the next part says a cylindrical vase is filled with soil if the height of the vase is 6 centimeters and the vase holds 471 cubic centimeters. What is the diameter of the vase? So again, you need to write the formula down. B equals, for a cylinder, we're working with pi r squared times the height. They're giving us 471 for the volume, and we still have pi. We don't know the r squared, but we do know the height is 6. So remember, this is the one where you have to do pi 3.14 times 6. Write down what you get, just like we did for the last one. If you do 3.14 times 6, you will get 18.84. So 471 equals 18.84 radius squared. And then remember, you're going to have to divide both sides by 18.84 to get them on the same side. Or to cancel that out. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other. Then, just like this one, you have the radius squared. So again, you're going to divide on both sides. Divide, divide. You're going to get 18.84. You're dividing by that number. These will cancel. 471 divided by 18.84, you're going to get 25 equals r squared. You then need to do the square root, just like you did in the last one. I'm going to let you do that. You have to do that for yourself. But then, in order to find the diameter, you have to multiply whatever you get times 2. All right, so do that in your calculator, then multiply it by 2, and that will give you the diameter is whatever you get, whatever your answer is, and it's in centimeters. The volume of a sphere is 36,000 pi units squared. What is the radius? Remember, in order to do that, you need to use V equals 4/3 pi r cubed, and then you would have to fill in 3,600 pi equals 4/3 pi times radius cubed. And remember, this is the one where you can divide both sides by radius pi. I'm sorry, 4/3 pi. You're dividing it, so the pi's will cancel, and you need to divide 36,000 by 4/3, and then you'll get radius cubed, and then you'll have to do the cube root in order to find out what the radius is. So I'm going to let you do that part on your own. Divide both sides by 4/3 pi. You're going to get an answer, and it's going to say answer, whatever you get, your answer is going to equal radius cubed, and you have to take the cube, that's a little mini 3, the cube root of both of these. And in order to do the cube root, you have to write 3 second caret and then put in whatever answer you got, and that will give you the correct answer. All right. Last one I'm going to do with you. The volume of the cylinder is 300 feet cubed. The volume of a cylinder is 300 feet cubed. Find the volume of a cone and a sphere that have the same height and radius as the cylinder. So you're going to do the cylinder, and once you do that, you're going to times that answer. Oh, all you have to do, I think, is times that answer by 2/3 for the sphere and times it by 1/3 for the cone. So you're just gonna, I'll write it here. You're gonna times this answer, times it by 1/3, and that will give you the cone. And then you're going to times that, I believe, by 2/3. But again, we have to check with Miss Dolph on that one because that one confuses me a little bit. I'm pretty sure it's 2/3, not 4/3. Times it by 2/3, and that will give you the sphere. That's all I'm going to do with you today. I hope that everybody was following along. I did not intentionally tell you the answers to most of these because I want you to use your brain and do these on your own.